Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. ASML executives call on China, make your own lithography machine. Is China also going to be self-reliant in chips? A few days ago, I saw a news that ASML's CEO publicly stated that China is building its own lithography machine. This statement is considered explosive news within the industry. You can't help but be surprised. This means that many people once thought that lithography machines can only rely on ASML in the Netherlands, and this belief is about to be shaken. China wants to make its own lithography equipment? This news makes people think and a little irritated. Let's take a step back. Most of the lithography machines used in China's wafer factories are still imported, especially extreme ultraviolet (EUV) lithography machines, which have high technical barriers and are difficult to master. Only a few companies in the world can master them. According to my information, ASML's market share of the global extreme ultraviolet (EUV) lithography machine will exceed 90% in 2022. This means that China is almost entirely relying on imports. And this is not only costly, but also controlled by the United States to some extent. On the one hand, the United States restricts exports, and on the other hand, it puts pressure on Europe, forcing ASML in the Netherlands to be like a middleman, caught in a dilemma. But, then again, do you think this can stop China's heart? Wrong. Since last year, news about China's independent research and development of lithography machines has been overwhelming. Huawei HiSilicon, Shanghai Microelectronics, and Yangtze Memory have all mentioned in various reports that we must rely on independent innovation. According to data from the China Semiconductor Industry Association, in 2023, the domestic investment in scientific research of high-end chip manufacturing equipment increased by nearly 40% compared with last year. This is not just heartfelt words, but real actions. Not to mention, China Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, announced a new process line last year, which will gradually achieve national domestic equipment support. Many manufacturers are emphasizing independent control. I remember a report before that a factory also said, "We have verified the laboratory prototypes of some domestic lithography machines. Although they cannot be mass-produced, we have made breakthroughs in splitting components and optimizing processes." All this shows a trend. It is not that there are no technical difficulties or capital investment, but China is not relaxing and trying to crush the blockade at every link. You ask me, can China really catch up? I have to say that we can't just look at whether a lithography machine can be produced. What's more important is that we build a complete industrial chain and innovation ecosystem. Last year, I found data that China's share of the upstream and downstream of the global semiconductor industry chain has approached 40%. This is not a single-point breakthrough, but more like a gradual saturation process. Behind it is not only technology, but also a contest of trust. Let's look at the United States again. It has been suppressing China's chip technology. For example, The new round of export restrictions announced last year has hit China's advanced chip equipment companies hard. These restrictions have forced us to speed up our research and development. An industry insider revealed, the United States' actions are like digging a pit. The deeper it digs, the more it will be buried. Living in the economic wall it has set up, the United States actually knows that it is not realistic to want China to be completely blocked. After all, China's talent pool is too rich. We can't ignore China's engineers and scientists. Every year, tens of millions of students take the college entrance examination, and millions graduate in science and engineering. In fact, Americans naively think that they can block China with talents. However, our country's engineering team is growing fast, and its technical capabilities are also growing rapidly. In 2022, China's research and development (R&D) expenditure reached 3.7% of GDP, becoming the second largest in the world. The lithography machine is just a symbol of this struggle. However, I'm also very clear that the current situation is still full of challenges. The research and development of that lithography machine will take several years and invest tens of billions. It is not only a matter of technological breakthroughs, but also a test of patience and funds. Moreover, this is not overnight. No one can deny that China has come to this point today based on the country's strong will for independent innovation. Unfortunately, in the face of constant political pressure from the United States, the industry's superfortress is still difficult to dismantle. You want to ask me, will it work in the future? I just want to say, don't underestimate our resilience. I'm thinking, what is the probability that ASML is willing to cooperate with China and transfer technology? The current wind direction has become more complicated. The United States puts pressure on Europe, and the Netherlands has to swing between cooperation and politics. If China is really excluded, what will the world's lithography machine market look like next year? I'm afraid it won't take long for someone to stand up and say, we figured it out ourselves. Another question, can we still believe that more restrictions will stifle innovation? Or will it only inspire us to fight back harder and faster? It's still unknown who will be the final winner of this chip war. But this sentence is more worthy of repeated chewing by every ordinary person.